Welcome to the show, and today in this show of history where we discuss about great kings of India, we have eminent historian Mrs. Meeta Joshi, and today we are discussing the personality and the administration and other aspect of Jahangir's era. So, without wasting any further moment, let's welcome Mrs. Meeta Joshi and discuss about Emperor Jahangir.
Sure, Mitaji, and as usual, it is so wonderful to talk to you and listen to the great kings of India and always. So today, as we have discussed, that we'll be talking about Mughal Emperor Jahangir. So yes, so what exactly come into your mind when we talk about Jahangir?
See, Jahangir was Akbar's son, and he was born as Nuruddin Salim because he was born by the blessings of a Sufi saint known as Salim Chishti. So Akbar named him Salim. Later, he took the regnal name as Jahangir. Jahangir is a Persian word which means the conqueror of the world. So from childhood, he was an ambitious child, but because Akbar's aura was very big, and when he was a child, Akbar wanted him to study. Akbar wanted him to, learn all the tricks of administration and how to run such a big empire. But he wanted to be with his parents. So this anger he had because Akbar sent him away. So that anger was always in his heart, and once upon a time he even revolted against Akbar because he was so ambitious. He wanted that he should become the Mughal emperor, and it was not possible till Akbar was alive. So he revolted once, which was the revolt was put down. And when Akbar passed away in 1605 AD, then he came to the throne till he was alive, till 1627 AD. So it was a 22-year-old long rule. And one thing he wanted to do is he wanted to undo whatever Akbar has done because he wanted to make his own mark. And in that process, the first thing he did was Akbar, as we discussed in the last episode, was a secular king. He always, though he was Islamic by his religion, but he always preferred all the religions. So when Akbar was the Mughal emperor, he abolished the jizya tax. Jizya was a tax which was imposed particularly on Hindus. But when Jahangir came into rule, the first thing was he imposed the jizya tax again on the Hindu subjects. He wanted to do something different from his father. And then what he did, Agra fort, which was built by Akbar, it's a very beautiful fort. So he established he got a chain made, and which was made of pure gold. Okay. And that chain was from Agra Fort, where Jahangir used to stay. From that place, it was a 30 gaj long chain with 60 bells.
Okay.
So anyone who is in need or anyone who wants to see the emperor, if he pulls that chain, then Jahangir would give a personal audience to that person. Any moment. It was not that you come in morning or afternoon, at any hour of the day. So that's why it was known as a chain of justice. So suppose anyone had any problem, so they went near the fort and they pulled the chain. So because 60 bells are there, so it made lot of noise. So the Jahangir would come on the Jaroka, on the window, and then he would come down and listen to the problems and address it.
Okay. So
That way,
the first time he has done it, it was not there at the time of Akbar, I guess.
no. This was established solely by Jahangir, the golden chain of justice. And then, after his marriage to Noor Jahan, or originally her name was Mehru Nisa, she was the daughter of Mirza Ghiaz Beg, and she was married to some other person. So but she was very beautiful. So Jahangir got, awestruck by her beauty, and he wanted to marry her. So it is said that maybe he only plotted the murder of Mehru Nisa's husband, and when she became the widow, he married her, and he named her Noor Mahal. That means the light of the palace. And later she was given the name Noor Jahan, light of the world. Because Jahangir was into lot of wine and women, so the administrative part was suffering. So that time Noor Jahan took a lead, and she was very instrumental in the administration, and slowly she became so powerful that she was also allowed to issue farmans, which only king could do, because farmans were the royal mandates. So she became so powerful that she also started issuing farmans, and she placed her brother and uncles and her father all in very important positions in the empire. And she was too much interested in administration, that what is happening in and around the Mughal empire, and she really took care of the administration, because her husband was always busy in parties and drinking parties, and into lot of he was indulgent into many things. And one why Jahangir is also remembered is because he was the Mughal emperor who gave the permission to East India Company to trade in India. Because that time when Thomas Roe, he was appointed by the East India Company, and he lived in Jahangir's court for more than 4 to 5 years. And subsequently he became very close to Jahangir. They used to drink together, and he even carried a crate of wine and beer, because beer was unknown in India before that. So he became very close to Jahangir, and he took all the permissions to trade in India. Previously, East India Company never had permissions to trade on a major scale. They were a small, business party who would trade spices and silks and important things which were available in our country. But it was Jahangir who even issued a farman that they can officially trade in India. And from that time, the Britishers, they slowly started seeping in the Indian system. And finally, after the last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, they completely captured the entire Indian dominion. So we can say that it was Jahangir who gave the permissions to do all the business and trade in India.
So we can safely say that there are few wrong things which are associated with Jahangir.
Yeah. But it is not all the wrong things. He was a very big patron of art and literature.
Yes.
So in his time, he himself was an author. If you get a chance, his autobiography Tuzuk-e-Jahangiri is a very good memoir of his life, that what all he did in his life and what all challenges, difficulties he faced as a king and also as Akbar's son, because somehow there was a friction between Akbar and Jahangir always. Though Akbar loved him very much, but because he was into wine and women and he was not disciplined, so that part Akbar always hated, because he wanted his son to take over the Mughal Empire, which he has established with lot of hard work. So that was one point of friction between the father and the son. And then because when he was small, he was sent away for the studies and all, which he did not like, Jahangir. So
Yes.
there was always this friction between the father and the son, which led to many things. Because as soon as he came into the throne, he tried to undo whatever Akbar has done, and he wanted that he should be remembered as a great Mughal emperor than his father.
So when I was studying history in my school days, and I was two emperors who I actually enjoyed reading. One was Akbar and another was Jahangir, and primarily because that he has some special ability. Because as you said, in art and culture he has excelled, and
Yes.
part of this, he was also known as alchemist. He was mixing so many products, and like so that
True.
is that gives him a kind of personality to really read about him. And about this, I've also heard that if there are 100 painters who have painted one painting, he has that ability to identify which painter has
Yes.
painted that
That's why
particular part. So
that's why he was known as a great patron of art and learning,
yeah.
because he had that taste, to judge a painting or to honor some poet or author. So that way he supported those people who were really talented, but the problem was they never had the resources to do that. So in Jahangir's time they flourished, all the painters, authors, poets, all kinds of art and literature. It really developed in Jahangir's time. And one thing more is there, Kanchan, that Akbar's aura was so great that anyone would get shadowed by it,
Right.
be it his own son,
Yeah.
which was always in his some corner of his mind, that he would never become as great as his father,
Mhm.
because Akbar was known far and wide, not only in India but in the entire world, because of his administration, or because of his this policy of matrimonial alliances, or because he took all the Rajputs into his stride. So many things were associated with him. So for Jahangir, it was like a, a tough road to prove himself as a good emperor in comparison with his own father.
Right. So, as we have already discussed, that administration was not his cup of tea because that was handled by Noor Jahan.
Yeah.
And so, let's talk about his contribution in art and architecture. And I think there are some gardens, Mughal gardens, which
So
are.
many gardens he developed.
So, let's
And
talk about
even if you talk about gardens, Kashmir gardens were developed by Jahangir, because it was Jahangir who said कि कहीं धरती पे स्वर्ग है तो यही है, यही है, यही है. So that way he has developed lot of gardens. He built many forts, many palaces. Hmm? And as I told you that he himself was an author. He wrote his own autobiography known as Tuzuk-e-Jahangiri, in which he mentions about all this. And especially he had a very soft corner for Kashmir, because it is known for its natural beauty, but then the gardens which Jahangir developed there, not only in Kashmir, in Agra, in Agra Fort, even in Delhi. He did a lot of work in beautifying the Mughal Empire. Like we can say that Shah Jahan was a great builder when it comes to big buildings. It was Shah Jahan who takes this credit. He, at least in his lifetime, had built maybe more than 100 mosques or many hospitals, many schools, many palaces, many tombs. But when we talk about beautifying the Mughal Empire, it was solely Jahangir, because he had that taste, to make things look beautiful.
So, in the last, I would like to ask you about the socio-economic condition of people when Jahangir took the throne and started ruling.
See, when he came into the throne, Mughal Empire was already established because he was the fourth Mughal emperor. Before him, Akbar was there, and Akbar had really established the empire in a very good way. So for him, it was like everything, given on a platter type. And but because he was totally indulged into this wine and woman thing, so it was Noor Jahan who really kept the empire intact by her administration. If we talk about the socio-economic background of the people that time, they were like happy and prosperous, but only the Hindu subjects were not happy because they had to pay this jizya tax. And not only jizya, he imposed two, three more taxes on Hindus. Like suppose they are doing some business, so some octroi, some duty he used to charge, particularly from Hindus, not from Muslim subjects. So that way, the Hindu subjects of his empire were not very happy with him. But on a whole, if you see, then he was like a popular emperor because of his golden chain of justice. He did justice to the people.
So, in the last, I just want to ask you how you really feel, or how you would like to put the personality of Jahangir for everybody to remember or call upon him. What kind of contribution he has done, or how we should remember this great King Jahangir, who was so good in art and culture, who propagated so much, created so much aura, especially in this part of stream of culture.
See, he will be known for his works for art and literature. He will be known for his autobiography, Ruzuke Jahangiri. He will be remembered for all the gardens he had developed in and around Delhi and Agra, and even in Kashmir. And he will be remembered because he was the only Mughal emperor who was very particular about justice in his empire.
Okay.
And see, other emperors who were there, they did meet common people in a group. Suppose there is a darbar, and there were some days fixed that the layman can walk in and share a word with the emperor. But it was only him who gave this access to common people, that anytime anyone could ring those bells of the chain and take an audience with Jahangir. So that one-to-one personal touch only Jahangir provided, no other Mughal emperor.
Yeah, I mean, I've not heard this kind of chain of justice associated with any other king or emperor.
Yes, only Jahangir.
Only Jahangir, and that is, I think, it's something very innovative,
And commendable also, because when you become a king, you have this notion that, oh, why should I meet the common people?
Right.
Because there are people to meet the common people. They have ministers, they have different officers, to solve people's problem. Then why should a king come down and talk to the lay persons?
Right.
Of
And
the
everybody can come and meet, and that is something.
Anyone at any point of hour.
Right.
Even if in night anyone goes and shakes those bells, Jahangir would come down
Oh,
and he would talk to that woman, man, anyone personally. That
oh,
what is your problem? What is bothering you? So that is a big thing. You are giving a personal touch as an emperor
right.
to the common people, which no king will do.
Mm.
Suppose if you see the British dynasty, which flourished in Great Britain, and now Prince Charles will be coronated as the king. So they never gave access to the common people. It was always a mystery. The crown and the royal empire, you could never go close to them.
Right.
It was only when they became unpopular because of the treatment, the behavior which they did with Diana or other reasons, then they started giving audience to common people. Like once a month, all the royal people would walk down the Buckingham Palace, and there will be a sea of people waiting for them to talk to them. So it is for them as kings and queens, they have ego
Mhm.
that we are the kings or we are the queens. Why should we go down and we should have a conversation with any XYZ of our empire?
Right.
It's a very great thing that as an emperor, you came down to that level and you literally solved people's problems.
Yeah. So in a way, it is actually he was a people's emperor, but somehow
Yes.
he got indulged in some other aspects that
Other aspects, plus his this imposing many taxes on the Hindu subjects,
right.
also made him little unpopular among the, because see, majority of the people were Hindus
Hmm.
in the empire.
Right.
We cannot deny this fact that Mughals belong to the house of Timur.
Hmm.
So they were outsiders.
Mhm.
So mostly the people who are living in the empire are Hindus, were
Right.
Hindus.
Mhm.
So when you are creating unpleasant situations for them,
Mm.
so obviously that you won't be as popular as Akbar was, or as popular as even Shah Jahan was, very stern when it came to religion. But at the same time, he always entertained his Hindu subjects.
Right.
Even Jahangir had Hindu wives.
Mm.
Noor Jahan was his 20th wife
Okay.
officially.
Okay.
She was his 20th wife. So he had lot of Hindu queens in his palace.
Okay. So, as usual, we got and we had a quite a interesting discussion today, and we came to know few finer points about Emperor Jahangir, and somehow I think he's mix of many things, good and bad, as other people who are mixed of good and bad, and I think he will be remembered as a great patron of art and culture and painting, and so many.
We had a wonderful discussion about Emperor Jahangir, and we have also come to know those finer points of his personality and the way he has created a aura and a atmosphere of justice. So we look forward for your comments, and we'll be meeting again with our next profile, next discussion on personality, a great personality, the great King of India. So till then, bye bye, and you take care.